From the Hussman School of Journalism and Media at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics. This is Sports Extra.
I hope UNC basketball checked the weather report because there is a storm brewing down in South Beach this weekend. Good morning and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Joshua Dolgoff.
And I'm Lee Jeffries. Thanks for joining us. The men's basketball team will travel down south to face the Miami Hurricanes in hopes of getting back into the win column tomorrow afternoon. After an upsetting loss last time around, the Heels will need to come out strong and execute their game plan from start to finish against a solid Miami team. Stars RJ Davis and Armando Bacot will look to be the driving forces helping the team push past the Canes. Both players are coming off 20-point games with no intentions of slowing down. It will be their first meeting against the Hurricanes this season. To no one's surprise, Harrison Ingram was named Co-ACC Player of the Week. His play against Duke put him on everyone's radar and made his mom proud. It was easy to see he balled out in a win against Duke Saturday. From his amazing defense to hitting a cascade of threes for the Heels, it was clear who the ACC's finest was last week. Ingram recorded 21 points and 13 boards against the team from Durham, even more significant than earning his first ACC award. One of the biggest contributors to the men's basketball team's success this season has been big man Armando Bacot. Bacot is currently on the watch list for the prestigious Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Award, which is awarded to the top center in college basketball. There is no question why he's on the top 10 list, especially after his recent double-double electric performance against Duke, highlighted by this monstrous dunk as he led the Tar Heels to the win. While Armando Bacot has found consistency with back-to-back doubles, the UNC men's basketball team struggled to keep the momentum following the big win versus Duke. Let's go to the top of the key with our men's basketball analyst, Aman Patel, to see what went wrong for the Heels. Aman?
Thanks, Lee. I want to tell the viewers at home that we here at Sports Extra are locked in. Unfortunately, the same couldn't be said about our men's team Tuesday night as the curse of the Duke hangover came to fruition. Coach Hubert Davis said after the game that he was unhappy with the practices leading up to the Clemson matchup. And well, when you turn on the tape, it's the little things that killed Carolina. Now we all know defense is about two things: effort and communication. I want you to take a look at Elliot Cadeau and Harrison Ingram in this man-to-man set. PJ Hall is going to come down and set a screen, and Elliot Cadeau is looking to go over. It's because he's guarding Joe Girard, who's a 42% three-point shooter. But I want you to take your eyes to Harrison Ingram. He's in no man's land. He needs to be up pressuring the shooter or tell Elliot Cadeau, hey, we're going to switch. But he does neither, so Elliot Cadeau is going to recover, and that leaves a wide-open PJ Hall, who knocks down the open three. Unfortunately for the Heels, this would not be the only time these two didn't communicate. Less than a minute later, watch what happens on the baseline drive from Chase Hunter. Again, it's another man-to-man set. You're going to see the screen comes. He goes away from it, and right here, neither of these two have communicated, and they both are going to peel off Hunter, leading to a wide-open baseline jumper that he's going to knock down every time. And even when the Heels got it going in the second half, they couldn't help but hurt themselves with mental errors. Eye discipline and understanding your assignment are so key in basketball, and Harrison Ingram, well, he didn't do either on this play. You're going to take a look. Hunter's going to roll off the screen, and right here, Harrison Ingram, his man is standing here at the block. He is just in no man's land, ball watching, and it's going to lead to him looking for a rebound and committing a dumb foul at the end, leading to an easy and one for the Clemson Tigers. There were a lot of good things that happened on Tuesday night. Armando Bacot was dominant with yet another double-double. Ingram and Davis hit big-time threes, and after falling behind 15-2 early in the game, the Heels fought back well. But this team has to fix the little things. Lee?
Aman, after that disappointing loss, what do the Heels need to get back into the win column this weekend against Miami?
Well, Lee, the Hurricanes were held to 38 points against Virginia, but don't let that fool you. Harrison Ingram is going to have his hands full defensively with Norchad Omier because he's 6'7", 240 pounds, and he leads the team with 17.6 pounds a game. He had a 33-point performance 2 weeks ago, and he'll stretch the floor from three-point land. He has to be stopped for the Heels to get back in the win column.
Hopefully the Heels don't get lost in the eye of the hurricane. Thanks, Aman.
The Lady Tar Heels have hit a bump in the road but hope to get back in the driver's seat against Duke tomorrow. The Lady Heels look to beat Duke Saturday as they travel over to Cameron Indoor Stadium. Carolina will be led by stars Alyssa Usby and Deja Kelly as they look to bounce back from a 3-game losing skid in ACC play. The Heels went 2-0 against that team from Durham in the regular season last year, but faltered in their third and final match against the Devils in the ACC tournament. Duke is the 23rd ranked team in the country, and the Heels are just outside the top 25. Perhaps a win will put them back in the rankings. With another huge rivalry game on the horizon, our women's basketball analyst Daniel Masterson takes us down the lane to break down how the Heels can steal a victory 10 miles down the road. Daniel?
Joshua, it might be Super Bowl Sunday this weekend, but don't go to those parties too early because we have another matchup in the rivalry on Sunday. The women's basketball team is looking to bust out of their 3-game slump in a big way against their biggest rivals. But in order to do that, they need their best player, Deja Kelly, to step up and have a huge game. She has struggled during this losing streak. She's shooting only 28% from the field in the last 3 games, and really, I think it's an issue of her process. This is a play from last week's game against Virginia Tech where Deja had another poor shooting performance. It was partially due to the size of the Hokie guards. You're going to see they're going to start with Georgia Amor on her in the corner, and she's going to run a little bit of a 2-man game with Lexi Donarski. And as she gets this ball back, Matilda Eck is going to switch on her. That's a worse matchup for Deja. She's a longer defender, and she's able to use her arms to get into her airspace. But as you see here, the offense has gone a little bit stagnant, but you have 18 seconds left on the shot clock. I want to see them pull out, reset, and get a better set going and try to get a better look at the rim. But Deja's not going to do that. She's going to settle for a tough pull-up jumper with a hand in her face, and that's not the look you want there. Duke also has really provided a tough matchup for Deja during her time here. Here's last year in the ACC tournament where Deja shot 4 of 22 on the game. Duke's pressing early, and they're going to double up Eva Hodgson to try to get back into this game. She makes a good pass to Deja, and as you get past half court, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 Tar Heel offensive players with only 3 Duke defenders back. You have to get a good look here. Whether or not that's a layup or an open jumper, you need to get a solid quality possession here. But Deja's going to play way too fast, and as she gets into the paint, she's going to settle for this pull-up jumper with Reagan Richardson right in front of her. And she's a really long defender, and look at where that arm is on that contest. That's not a good look, and Deja misses badly. This has been a consistent issue for Deja and the Heels this year, but they've done some good things on offense to get her some more space to work with. The first game against Virginia, Deja had 27 points on her most efficient game of the season. On this out-of-bounds play, Deja's the inbounder, and I really like that decision because it gets the ball into the hands of your best playmaker. She's going to find Donarski in the corner, and she's immediately doubled, meaning that there's going to be someone on the other side open. She finds Usby, who makes a quick decision, out to Deja, and with that much space in front of her, that is an easy bucket. But Deja is a 5'8" guard. You can't expect a 5'8" guard to be able to create space every single possession down the floor. If they want to maximize her ability, they need to have more plays just like this one that can utilize her play style with space in front of her. And if they can do that, this could be another sweet victory against the Devils. Joshua?
Definitely need your best players to be your most consistent ones, but Daniel, what other matchups are you looking for in this one?
Yeah, I think the big man matchup is another really interesting one. Duke loves running their offense through Kennedy Brown, and she is a true center. She's 6'6", and she uses her physicality a lot down low. The Heels are going to need Maria Gokdang to rise to the occasion and hold her own in the paint if they want even a chance.
Let's try and make it back-to-back weekends beating Duke. Thanks, Daniel.
The Carolina women's lacrosse team is headed to Harrisonburg to take on James Madison for the first game of the 2024 regular season tomorrow. Tarfield midfielder Olivia Dirks had an impressive game against the Alumni last weekend and is setting up to be a player to watch this season. Her quick stick movement and smart plays make her quite the force to be reckoned with. Alongside Dirks, goalkeeper Alicia Nichols made save after save against the Alumni, but will need to watch out for JMU attacker and team captain Isabella Peterson, who was just selected as the American Athletic Conference favorite in the preseason poll. Carolina checked in at an impressive number 3 in both preseason polls, while JMU got the number 6 position. And both teams will definitely bring the energy as they go head-to-head at noon. 4 UNC women's lacrosse players snagged spots on the Inside Lacrosse Women's Preseason All-American list. Emily Knowles leads the charge, earning first-team recognition alongside Riley Casey, Gabby Hall, and Caitlin Wurzberger grabbing honorable mentions. Knowles, a powerhouse defender, returns for her 5th year after a stellar season. Knowles' defensive prowess solidifies UNC's backline, while Casey's breakout performance last year set the stage for more excitement. And let's not forget Wurzberger's offensive firepower. With high expectations, UNC lands at number 3 in preseason polls. Get ready, Tar Heel fans, the season opener is tomorrow, with the home opener on Tuesday, and I know we're all looking forward to getting back to Dorrance Field. With all of the hype centered around the women's lacrosse team, we should note that the team will be without 4 key players this season due to injury. First-year attacker Chloe Humphrey was the #1 prospect in 2023 and was going to have a huge impact on the offense, but she'll have to wait another year to make her UNC debut. Additionally, junior defender Brooklyn Walker-Welch, sophomore attacker Marissa White, and sophomore midfielder Kaylee Harden will also be sidelined because of season-ending injuries. Carolina will have to make adjustments on the field to make up for these gaps. Joshua, obviously losing Walker-Welch is huge from a defensive standpoint, but at the same time, the Tar Heels just lost 2 of their major offensive weapons that would have been key goal scorers.
Absolutely, and I've never really heard of something like this before, losing 4 key players before the season even starts. I'm interested to see who's going to step up in their absence on Saturday. Wish I could give you a player, but we just don't really know. We don't have any game film to go off of.
And I think that's a really great point to make. This first game tomorrow is going to be a real tone setter for the rest of the season. When the team loses this many key players, the question is, how do you respond? And I mean, what better way is there to find out than going on the road and beating a top 10 opponent?
Now let's go to the men's side. The UNC men's lacrosse team is headed to Atlanta to take on Mercer for their first game of the season. With a revamped roster including the addition of #1 recruit freshman Owen Duffy and key returners like Paul Barton and Lance Tillman, the Heels hope to start their season with a win. The last time UNC faced off against Mercer, it was a massacre, with Carolina winning 25-3. The Heels had 16 different goal scorers in that game, along with 10 saves from Colin Krieg. If they're able to protect the goal and move the ball around, the Heels will be coming back to the Hill with a dub.
25th ranked Tar Heels men's tennis caused a racket on Thursday against Elon. UNC started strong in doubles with duo Will Jansen and Carl Poling sweeping Elon 6-0. Single play wasn't as dominating as doubles, but still got the job done. Philip Jordan and Will Peters both took advantage of their competition and won their matches in 2 sets. Jansen kept the crowd entertained with his match pushing into 3 sets. Although he dealt with some frustrations, he won. Carolina sweeps this one 7-0.
Undefeated on the season, the UNC women's tennis team will begin its path to what would be its 5th ITA indoor championship in a row. Today, the Heels play in Seattle and take on the real USC, Southern California, who the Heels aim to take down to stretch their win streak to 7. Watch out for great matchups featuring last week's ACC Player of the Week Fiona Crawley and doubles pairing of the week Reese Brandmeier and Elizabeth Scotty.
Carolina wrestling is back on home turf tonight, facing off against Pitt and hoping to get back in the win column. While the Heels are coming off of a tough loss against NC State, Tyler Eichens is the one to keep your eye on. The 174-pound Tar Heel is on a 2-match winning streak, continuing to maintain dominance on the mat. But on the other side of the mat, Pitt is coming off of a massive 36-9 win against Duke and is bringing that momentum into the 7 p.m. match with the Heels. The UNC gymnastics team is looking to get back on track Sunday when they travel to Raleigh for a rematch against NC State. When these 2 squads met in January, it was NC State that came out on top, despite the Tar Heels putting up their highest score of the season. The Heels are coming off of the defeat to the Pitt Panthers last Friday, where junior Julia Noer picked up the 9th all-around title of her career. But if Carolina is to secure its first ACC victory of the season, the Heels have to be better collectively, as they haven't surpassed a team score of 195 in 2 consecutive meets.
The Tar Heel softball team looks to knock it out of the park as they head to Rock Hill, South Carolina for a weekend tournament against North Carolina A&T and Winthrop. The players hope for a successful weekend facing 2 non-conference opponents. With Georgia transfer pitcher Britton Rogers, we can anticipate many strikeouts at the plate. Strong defense and hustle plays like this catch from Anisha Jordan are vital to back up Rogers on the mound. On the offensive side, the team will need to show out in the batter's box, similar to what we see here from Marshall transfer Autumn Owen. The Heels will bring grit and desire, hoping to be victorious in this weekend in their season starter. The second-ranked UNC men's golf team competed in the first round of the Mayor Ari Invitational on Thursday down in the tropical state of Hawaii. The Heels sit atop the leaderboard going into the second round with a team score of 26 under par. Junior David Ford led the charge for Carolina on Thursday, shooting an 8 under par 64. The Tar Heels will look to carry their strong play into the final 2 rounds. And speaking of strong play, one of Carolina's greats, football star Julius Peppers, was announced to be inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame later this year. Peppers is currently ranked second of all time in UNC history with 30.5 sacks and went on to play 17 years in the NFL with the Green Bay Packers, Carolina Panthers, and the Chicago Bears. Can't wait to see him be inducted in Canton, Ohio later this year.
On Monday, we gave you our 2 best plays of the week, and you guys voted on our Instagram stories. Of course, it had to be this incredible dunk by Armando Bacot. Trimble lobs it to Bacot, and he's right there ready to slam it in. Of course, hanging onto the rim a few extra seconds in this incredible game against our one and only rival, the Duke Blue Devils.
Rock climbing is already hard enough. Cameron Thomas tells us for one nurse in Chapel Hill, he's able to do it against all odds.
Kyle Long's idea of fun is different than most. You can often find the 36-year-old dangling off of a cliff in western North Carolina or training in the gym, all while using a prosthetic right leg. One outdoor route that Long is trying to climb demands a lot.
The handholds are incredibly thin, so you really have to be strong with your fingertips, strong in your feet. I do have to use my affected limb quite a lot.
Outdoor climbing isn't all Long does. He's an elite competition climber as well, representing the United States in the Paraclimbing World Cup in 3 of the past 4 years.
Great community, gets you outside of your comfort zone, makes you go and meet new people, go see new places.
While it might not be the most conventional hobby, Long thinks there's value in it for everyone.
You get outside and you view the outdoors in a very different way, especially the mountains and various other, parts of nature. It really allows you to appreciate nature on a much deeper level.
I'm Cameron Thomas, reporting.
That was a really inspiring story that I think speaks volumes about what you can do when you put your mind to it.
The fact that he's able to do it without any ropes, I think that makes it all the more impressive.
Insanely impressive. Personally, I have a fear of heights, and rock climbing is just something I cannot do. That does it for this edition of Sports Extra.
We don't have a show on Monday, but make sure to tune in on Friday for a preview of another exciting weekend of Carolina athletics.